Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I am Mick Alfany. So we're going to begin here with this article on U.Today, and it's titled Ripple Settlement Rumors Back in Spotlight as Fox Business Correspondent Shares Scoop. So let's scroll down here and see what they're talking about. If this is anything significant. It says in a tweet, everything starts with tweets these days. My goodness. Fox Business journalist Eleanor Terrett hinted that the United States Securities and Exchange Commission might soon make a potentially big announcement. Is that so? Most of the time with the SEC, it's all negative. They're just bullying people into paying money, and everybody who can pays them immediately so they don't have to battle them in a war of attrition that's going to deplete their businesses of capital and destroy them. That's all that has been happening. Let's read just a little tidbit. It says, quote, scoop. Who says scoop anymore? But OK. My SEC Gov sources, right? OK. So this is hearsay. Sources tell me to be prepared for a potentially big announcement tomorrow. Interesting. All right. Could it have something to do with a Kraken FX settlement following a closed meeting at 2 p.m.? I always found that interesting. They're going after Kraken. Isn't Kraken a bank now? Like they became a bank, which was one of the examples that Ripple probably could follow in the future. Like I said this last year. I said I think a lot of the bank coins could wind up having banks on their chain or becoming banks or have bank offerings. That's why I said directly, just like what you see LCX is doing. What LCX is doing in their attempts to become a bank is the same thing that Kraken already did. The path has already been laid. But I just thought that was interesting. So Kraken becomes a bank and SEC still goes after them. So it doesn't matter what you do in crypto, the SEC is coming after you. Even though they're still on the securities thing. This is why so I'm not a lawyer, just my humble opinion, okay? But every lawyer should use that LBC case to set the precedent and set the tone in court and say, look, secondary sales. This judge saw that secondary sales are not securities. These are not securities. Look, twist it whichever way you have to. This is a war right now. Do you want to win or you want to lose? Because right now they're trying to keep their foot on the necks of the people. Yes, I'm going to share some of my thoughts. This is YouTube. This is what I do. All right. But the people should push back if they want to have a chance in the future to do anything different. Right now, all the powers are putting the boots on the necks of the people. You're going to see that in this video with the different articles we're going to cover. But let's continue on here. It's like the people don't have any fight in them left. You expect to have something good and not fight for it? That's not going to happen. The world doesn't work that way. There's bullies. And unless you punch the bully in the mouth, they're going to keep running your pockets. You have to fight. You can't run from it. Sooner or later, you ran so much, there's nowhere to run. What are you going to do? So now, let's finish reading this. It says, could it have something to do with the Kraken FX settlement following a closed meeting at 2 p.m.? I hope Kraken wins. I hope everybody wins against the SEC. How about that? Everybody who's in crypto. Most of these companies are above board good companies. Now, I don't follow them deeply, but I have done research into Kraken. I have experience with LBRY and their the library app. They have some great content over there. Odyssey have great content. Real legit businesses, not scam coins, not rug pulls. And yet that's who the SEC went after. There's a reason for that. So like I said, I reiterate, I hope everybody wins against the SEC. How you like that, SEC? Could settlement terms have industry ramifications? We'll see. Terrett wrote. All right, how does this relate to XRP? We're about to find out. Let me scroll down here. Oh my goodness. Was this just for some views? It says an XRP enthusiast. I'm not going to say the person's name because I don't know if they want that read publicly. It says asked in response, quote, could it be a Ripple settlement? Okay, I can see why that question would be phrased. The person was very vague about what the big announcement could be. The Ripple case is the biggest case the SEC is currently handling. Simple as that. So it's logical to think that. I can see why someone may get excited. Someone may think that. And no doubt the writer of that tweet knew it also. They knew it was going to drive traffic to their Twitter, which probably doesn't get that much traffic as it is. You know what I'm saying? Like traffic, website traffic, tweet traffic, all that stuff is very difficult to come by. Like unique unique views is very difficult to come by. So people are going to do whatever they can to get views. They know XRP is big. They write XRP. Then you get some responses. Now there's theories developing and thrown around. Now you're getting some big views. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I think about that. It says here, Whale Chart, a cryptocurrency related Twitter account tweeted, quote, leak reveals SEC will make a major announcement today. Well, this is the same source that we're talking about, right? Ripple or Kraken settlement. I think it's, who knows? I'm not sure. We'll see. But I would lean more towards a Kraken settlement. They'll want to get things over with very quickly. Very, very quickly. Because they're already in business. They already have everything up and running. They're doing great. They don't need a hiccup like this. They don't need a pit bull biting on their ankle like this. So I'm assuming it might be Kraken. A lot of these companies have been settling very, very quickly. But we shall see. Okay, so that was on U.Today. If you want to read the rest of that article, they have a lot more here, including a section titled SEC Investigating Kraken Exchange. So there you have it there. Let's move on to the next article, the next chapter. All right. So I wanted to cover just a little piece to show the type of money, once again, we're talking about when we're talking XRP, when we're talking on demand liquidity. All right. Now, I'm not going to post. I'm going to read this little tidbit from this article here from Bitcoinist.com about Bank of America and Ripple. Then we'll go into the financials, the last financials they posted from Bank of America, because the numbers are insane. However, we are waiting on the 2022 annual. Bank of America is a huge partner of Ripple. This is coming from Brad Garlinghouse. So this is not rumors. This is not guessing. All right. This is a fact. Bank of America is a huge partner of Ripple, Garlinghouse reportedly said. Further, Burafado quoted the Ripple CEO as saying, quote, Bank of America stands to gain really big when the settlement happens, because they are gonna have a huge competitive advantage over their competitors using ODL, on demand liquidity, XRP, and the marketplace. Look at everything they do. They push XRP. Every single time Garlinghouse is talking, he's pushing on demand liquidity, XRP, the XRPL. The utilization of it. That's what makes Ripple what it is. The XRPL is the best technology. It's not just for Ripple. They're just one company. But for anybody building on the XRPL, if they know how, it is one of the most premier technologies. If you want to get in and dominate this industry while it's still young, that's why Ripple is pushing XRP to the front. Really, they're riding XRP. XRP doesn't ride Ripple. Ripple's riding XRP. Anybody could come in. Out of respect to Ripple, a lot of companies pull back and say, hey, we're going to let you do what you do. You have RippleNet, you got on-demand liquidity. We're going to pull back. There's a lot of different ways you could use XRP. A lot of big companies salivate over that opportunity, but they're saying to themselves, you know what? We're going to pull back. That's why a lot of them just go and use Stellar, Algorand, Hedera. They build on those to give Ripple its respect, because they're going to work with Ripple. They say, you did all the hard work. We let you do the hard work. No problem. As long as we get to benefit from it. And they will. Now, let's go here to this document, okay? This is the annual report from Bank of America, directly from bankofamerica.com. I want to start reading from page 2 for those of you who are able to look at it in the members only section, okay? It says here, we grew deposits by $269 billion to a record $2.1 trillion. Listen, I just want you to really let these numbers sink in. This is one partner of Ripple, one utilizer of XRP. Brad Garlinghouse specifically said on demand liquidity. That's what Bank of America wants to benefit from. That utilizes XRP. They have hundreds of financial institutions set up. What do you think it's going to do to that price? My goodness. It says here, we grew loans by $51 billion. Look at the capital they're working with. All of this will flow across the chain. Make no mistake about it. Everything's going to be every single thing is going to be tokenized and digitized. They're not stupid. They're not dummies. They see what's coming. They want even more capital, even more money. They don't want to live on this king level anymore. That's boring to them. So anyway, this is how they think. I'm just letting you know. It says here, the fastest rate, that was the fastest rate in their history. It says for So importantly, we added nearly 1 million net new checking accounts. That's going to be flown across chain. I don't know how long it's going to take. They're going to put everything on there. Might be XRP, might be a combination of XRP and Stellar. Who knows? 1 million net new checking accounts. It says here, this helped consumer investment assets grow 20% over the course of 2021. And we added millions of new credit card accounts. This is a partner. What happens when all that value and all that activity, all that volume, and they're definitely going to use traceability. Why would they not? Why would they not use traceability? What does it do to the price of XRP? When you have hundreds of financial institutions somewhere around the area of being like this, not all, some big, some small, but I mean, the wave of money coming in, tsunami of money coming in. What does it do to the price of XRP? Does XRP stay at 40 cents, $3, $5, $10? You really believe that? I have to respectfully disagree. Let's go here. It says in our wealth management business, Merrill and Private Bank, we saw record client flows during 2021 of $149 billion. You think if Bank of America is using us, Bank of America is in love with Ripple? And I said this plenty of times. They were praising Ripple even before Brad made this direct statement. It wasn't a secret that they loved Ripple and the technology and were looking forward to using XRP. There was no secret about that. Not from Bank of America, it wasn't. You think if they're using us, you think all those lesser banks aren't going to use us as well? I don't know what to tell you if you believe that. I don't know. Now, look, people copy all the time. They look at someone else, they say, what is that person doing successful? And they take what they believe made that person successful and incorporate it within themselves in order to be successful, in order to attain capital or whatever they want to attain. This happens all the time. And it's a prominent mind state in the world today. Just look at apps like TikTok. It's just people copying what other people have already done. Someone does this dance, the people do that dance also so they can go viral. Someone makes this joke, they all make that joke so they can go viral. They do it in different iterations. Sometimes it's exact copies. Someone runs this skit, this comedy sketch, everyone else starts doing it. This is a prominent mind state. It's the same in business. People do that. They're going to copy Bank of America. Now, you have to understand the psychology of individuals to know where things are going to go. All of these things together, catalysts, psychology of retail, the psychology of industry participants, it gives you 360 degrees of vision, mental vision. All right. Most people will only work with 180. They use half of the brain, either the creative portion, if you believe in such a thing, the creative portion or the calculative portion. What we're doing here is special because we're trying to see with 360 degrees of vision. That's something most people will never do. It's a steep mountain to climb. It takes a lot of discipline, but we've been doing it. You've been participating in it, in that way of thinking, accessing the fullness of your mind here on the channel. And I applaud you for that. Let's continue on here. It says, we continue to drive holistic client relationships as deposits in our global wealth and investment management business grew to $390 billion, up more than 20%. It's 20%. Sorry about that. I didn't see that little period there. My apologies. Then it says here, standalone, our GWIM business will be a top 10 U.S. bank by deposits. Average loans also grew during 2021 to nearly $200 billion, having grown now for 47 straight quarters, even through the redacted. If they were able to do all that, even through the redacted, you get what I'm saying? If they were able to do this through that, make this type of exponential gain through that, you think that what's going on right now is going to stop them? Obviously, they have a formula for victory. And I want a piece of that money. And they're just telling you. They were praising Ripple. Now you had Brad, the other articles from like November telling you that they're one of the biggest partners. They're literally handing people the money. And the craziest part, the people don't want to take it. They don't want to take it. I know you guys don't. You probably see one comment section at a time. I read hundreds of XRP hate comments a day. They hate XRP. At least this is what they claim. See, I tend to think they just don't want people to have XRP. Whether they're industry people, government people, or retail, they don't want everyone having it. They only want them to have it. So when it goes off, they have that pride and that so-called glory, even though glory is like a flash of lightning, is there and then it's gone. It's like a circle. It's like when you drop a rock in water and that circle keeps expanding until it expands to nothing. That's what glory is. It's nothing. Trust me on this. But they want that anyway. They want that feeling to say, see, I'm the only one. I'm at the top. And they don't even get it that being at the top by yourself is very lonely. Oh, it's very lonely. And it gets to the mind when you're on top by yourself. But they want that nonetheless, right? I'm just giving a balance to these things. But I think a lot of that is what it is. They actually love XRP. Love and hate are the same thing. They're two opposite polarities of the same pole, two opposite ends of the same pole, hot and cold on the same measuring device, right? The same thermometer. Where does hot begin and cold end? And where does cold begin or end? And where does hot begin? You see what I'm saying? It all merges together. Love and hate is like that. Their hate rapidly becomes love if the conditions are right. And their love rapidly becomes hate if the conditions are right. Always be careful of that, right? Whether it's crypto, stock market, or life. You can monitor the vibrations of beings, the energy of beings, the mind state of beings. If you just observe, don't walk through life on automatic. Observe. And you can see how that hate is so close to being love sometimes. They'll come back to XRP over and over again. They'll come back to your channel over and over again. That hate is so close to love. That's why I just accept it. I accept that reality. That the hate and love are two opposite ends of the same pole. Polarity is the law of polarity. Everything is comprised of these poles. We felt it within ourselves even. That you feel that flip where you're tolerant of something, then it might piss you off a little bit, where you like something, but then there's too much of it, then you may dislike it. You had too much of the chocolate chip cookie, but first you loved it, and now you've just eaten it for days, and then you just don't like it anymore. Just a light example. That polarity, that flip in the poles is always there. But you can govern it, you can manage it, you can control it. But you discipline your mind and really observe. It's not easy. It takes discipline to observe everything as much as you can. How do your energies feel in the morning? Take note of that, right? Then how does everyone else's energies feel in office? How did they greet me this morning? How did they say good morning? How did they look at me when they did that? How did they shake my hand? Was it firm? Was it light? What's the energies like when the people are talking in the background in the office? Start to determine like how this day is going to flow. Now there's unknown variables, but there's causes even for those unknown effects. That's a little bit more difficult. But if we control our own causes and effects, that's good enough typically. Be careful of the effects that we give rise to. We can control that. We can control this. We can control the physicalities. But you have to have a disciplined mind. Disciplined mind is going to take you far. I don't have to react the way that people want me to react. You don't have to react the way that people want you to react. Control the polarities. Control it. You can stay at a neutrality, or if you're really, really strong, you can keep it at the positive pole. But that's difficult. That's difficult. I would never say that's easy. Neutrality is a little bit simpler. You're right in the middle. Just because someone says something doesn't mean you have to get upset by it. No, control it. I understand what that person's trying to convey. I also understand that a lot of that energy they're giving off has nothing to do with me, has nothing to do with you. Something's going on in their life. It's not personal. I don't have to feel something about it. I don't need to let that negative parasite attach itself to me. Control the polarities. Control it. Through that realization, the realization that this was going to occur, that the cause that gave rise to that person's anger or hatred or whatever it might be, or their telling of irrelevant, nonsensical information, FUD, has nothing to do with us. We don't have to let that effect take rise in us. We don't have to be the effect of that. Nope. We can step back from it and have control. How long you can control your emotions, your mind, the physical surroundings that you live within, that's up to you. It's up to you. It takes a lot of mastery. It takes years of practice, meditation, disciplining the body and the mind as well. Feeding the mind. A lot of people not feeding the mind. They're letting their minds become weak. That's why they fall prey to a lot of things. A lot of things. And it's also why a lot of people are not finding freedom within themselves. Sure, there's physical freedoms and such like that, and that could be questionable depending on how you feel about this so-called reality, Malkut-like reality that we currently reside in. But within, there can be freedom within. But it starts here. And as your mind strengthens and grows, it's going to seek out a lot of substantive information that's going to allow you to be even more free. You'll start to develop these deep understandings of birth, growth, decadence, and death. And the acceptance of those things, once you accept those things, you start understanding them more fully and not fearing them, the more free you become. You see, here's the truth. Yeah, some people fear the D word, I got to be careful on YouTube because one time they punished me because I was talking about these type of topics, okay? But most people fear that, right? I personally don't. I've taken decades studying such a topic, accepting the reality of it, studying how different cultures around the world viewed it, reading their books. But here's what they don't tell you. Most people also fear life. They fear living. They fear waking up every day because they don't know what's going to come. They're constantly in a state of caution. It causes a stress on the body. The stress on the body and the mind causes cortisol to be produced and bad hormones and bad chemicals to be produced in the body. So really, it's damaging you over time. You get what I'm saying? And your body can only take so much damage. Your mind can only take so much damage. You don't need to be damaged. You don't need to. Maintaining the balance. Understanding these things, seeking greater wisdom, feeding the mind, reading sometimes. That reading can be powerful. Reading soothing things, reading intellectual things, reading things that take you to the next level. It does you a lot of good. Sometimes meditation. Some people do meditation. Some people do prayer. Whatever, you have to decide for you what's best to take you to the next level. But I'm here to tell you there's always a next level. I'm telling you, I would not tell you anything that's not true or something that's wrong. At this point in my life, I'm here to give everything that I possibly can while I can. If there's anybody out there actually listening. Same way that my predecessors did for me. I'm trying to give this to the world while I can. But you can free yourself. You can control your energies. You can develop the mind, feed the mind, take very good care of yourself. Don't poison the mind. Don't poison your eyes. Catch how I'm going to phrase this. Don't poison what you put in your eyes. Don't poison what you put in your ears. Don't poison what you put in your mouth. Don't poison what you put on your body. Right? Don't take in anything that's poisonous, detrimental. Now let's get back to this crypto talk here. All right. I know people are going to complain about the length of the video, even though there's chapters in the video, but they like to complain, man. I love everybody out there. I appreciate them being here, no matter where you are, and what you're going through. I hope you're doing good. I hope you're doing better. You can overcome anything in life. Anything in life you can overcome. No one can stop you. Don't stop yourself. No one can stop you from reaching your goals, being better, finding peace. Sometimes the goal is just peace. It's just peace. That's it. You can have peace, but you have to bring it to yourself. You got to go out there and grab it. Don't let them stop you from having peace. Sometimes you got to shut that internet off. Sometimes you got to shut that TV off. Sometimes you got to block people out. This is not advice. You can have peace on earth. Difficult, but possible. Okay, so let's go here with Volante, okay? Volante made this post here, and it's titled, it's from VolanteTech.com. You know they're a big partner of Ripple's, all right? It's titled Silicon Valley Bank Leading the Way in Payments Modernization and Customer Experience. Here we go. It says, given that payments modernization can be incredibly daunting for banks. Didn't I say that before? They're telling you the banks are weak. They don't really want to innovate or develop anything. They want it handed to them. And thank goodness we at Ripple, Volante, anyone building and using XRP, Stellar, Velo, Algorand are here to hand it to them. And we just happen to be holding protocol that may or may not skyrocket in price. Thanks to their laziness. It says, daunting for banks and financial institutions of all sizes. It's critical to acknowledge and learn from powerful use cases and success stories. Volante's SVP, Global Head of Payments as a Service, Deepak Gupta, alongside Paul Kazarian of IT Novarica Group, sorry about that, my apologies, sat down with Savit Pearl, Managing Director at Silicon Valley Bank, SVB, at Volante Evolve, to discuss how integrating modern payment solutions enabled the bank to transform its onboarding process, improve customer services, support major growth during the redacted. They were able to do all of that, and during the redacted. You know why they always point that out? Because other business people understand how difficult it was during the redacted. It was, oh my goodness, my word, it was difficult. To make it through that as a business, with a business that was thriving beforehand. So when a business person sees that, they say, oh, this helped them thrive. How can we use it? Instantly, it hooks anybody that had to live through that as a business owner. So let's continue on here. So it says here, SVB was once a fairly modest-sized institution managing around $40 billion with a primary customer base of early-phase tech startups. But after the redacted hit, prompting a historical inflow of investments into the financial and medical technology sectors, demand for the bank's services skyrocketed, launching SVB from relative obscurity into one of the largest financial institutions in the country. However, SVB's exponential growth also became one of its greatest challenges. Not only did the bank need to bulk up digital payments capabilities as a result of widespread, they were keeping people inside. I'm to be careful with some of these words I use. They also needed to ensure that all new customers could begin transacting as soon as possible, knowing that it would be nearly impossible to transform the entire infrastructure in such a short time frame. SVB worked with in-house developers and Volante, who's built on Ripple, Volante, to implement payments solutions that address the bank's most urgent needs. More specifically, they decided to focus on increasing customer satisfaction through seamless onboarding, as well as making significant strides to increase straight-through processing. Wait, do you understand what just happened? They just proved to us what I've been saying for an entire year, that when the chips are down and these banks are suffering and then the financial system collapses, and it's been happening, they're about to press the people again. They've been pressing the people by debanking certain people, not allowing them to use their own money to invest in crypto. This has been happening quite a bit. That's going to lend to the people turning on the banks even more, in my humble opinion. Now, when this financial system is finally ready to collapse, if it reaches that point, I mean, they could institute the new financial system before that happens, but let's just play with that scenario and say that it comes to that point, because this world has a tendency of waiting to the last second to do things. Tell me I'm wrong on that. All right, so it shows that when everything is at its worst, they're going to turn to the bank coins. That's what they just did here. When everything was at its worst and they needed everything to speed up and be more efficient, they turned to the bank coins. Volante is a Ripple partner. All right, so now let's move on to this next article. I don't want to stay on that for too long, but imagine this is a company that was moving $40 billion. Yes, managing around $40 billion. Imagine when they're fully integrated into the XRPL. If that indeed happens and that money's flowing through there, what does it do to that price? Now, let's go to this next article here. This also was posted by Volante, but it's actually an article from Swift.com. And it's titled, How Capture Growth Cross-Border Consumer and SME Payments. Sorry about that. I probably read that a little choppy. My apologies. It says here, let's just get right into the article here, because I thought this was powerful coming from Swift. It says, the financial services landscape looks a little different to how it used to be. New firms, business models, and job titles now exist. evolving as fast as the markets themselves, fueling innovation and leaving a whole host of new opportunities in their wake. These changes have affected individual behavior too. People are no longer limited to living in the country where they work in, but instead run their own businesses from around the world, from anywhere in the world. Haven't I been talking about that? The advent of the digital nomad. Nobody wants to talk about this. How many people are doing it? They live in other countries. You think that they're in the United States or the West, and they're not. Their videos, just posted videos. It just seems like they might be there. They're in other countries. A lot of business people are doing this. They live in paradise and they work from there. Digital nomads. If you haven't heard about it, and if you've definitely been on this channel for a while, you've heard about it. Look it up. So now, which is another reason the payment systems are going to change. The world is going to be a change. The world is going to be a place, sorry about that, that is very nomadic, in my personal opinion, in the future. People are going to come and go from countries as they rise and fall, and they're going to be rapid depending on who deploys what technologies and who treats people better, and what currency is worth this or that, and what they can afford in this country versus that country. And you see it happening now. People have no problem moving from somewhere in South America, Central America to America, do very well, and then they move out of there to somewhere else once they're able to buy a house outright or buy some good property. Like I said this a lot of times, I know people personally who have done that. They're doing great, by the way, right? So now, and I'm only speaking from my personal knowledge. That's it. Someone else could have a completely different story. I respect that. So now let's continue on here. It says new ways of working have been driven by advances in technology. In the light of these changes, international consumer and SME payment volumes have skyrocketed. They're telling a lot here in this Swift article, and banks are in a prominent position to capture this growth. Yeah, they're kissing up to the banks. They're kissing up to the banks because they want the banks to still favor them, although they haven't benefited the banks, not yet anyway. But the bank coins have, and they see the rapid rise of the bank coins. That's why this kiss up article, this butt kissing article was written. They see the rise and the embrace of all of the different banks embracing the bank coins. Quant partner with SIA. You know how many banks SIA has? SIA partnered with the European Central Bank. You think Swift doesn't see that? You think Swift doesn't see EveryNet, Velo, and LightNet becoming a juggernaut in Southeast Asia region? And then claiming, quite often I might add, which all of those are stellar, by the way, if you didn't know, for a lot of newcomers. And we do have a lot of new people on the channel, okay? You think they don't hear that? When LightNet, Velo, and EveryNet like to say that all the time, that they're coming for Swift's market? Of course they heard them, of course. So they have to stay in good with the banks. Let's continue on here. It says banks are in a prominent position to capture this growth. It's a huge opportunity waiting to be had. But what exactly does it look like? And what are the ingredients for success? It says a recent research estimates that the combined consumer to consumer, consumer to business, and business to consumer cross-border payment segments are worth over $4 trillion. That's just cross-border. XRP cross-border, XLM cross-border, Algorand cross-border. And we're into much more than that. We're into interbank payments, traceability. You see how much money could flow through them? That's what I'm trying to say here. That's what I'm trying to convey. Even Swift knows, sad little poor Swift only gets to access. And it's so hilarious that I can say this, but I can as a bank coin believer and supporter and holder investor. They only get to play in the $4 trillion of cross-border money. That's it. That's it. We can take that, a good chunk of that, by the way, a good chunk of this 4 trillion. And we can access so much more. That is what bank coin holders are holding, not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I don't ever want to be. I'm here for that bank money. Make your own decisions. I'm going to have a piece of that bank money. If it's the last thing I do, I'm going to have it. Now, let's move on from there. See, that's all we need to hear from them. It's worth over $4 trillion and expected to grow by 11% compared to last year. 11% on top of the 4 trillion. I appreciate this article, Swift. And usually I don't really see eye to eye with you. But keep putting out information like that. I might I might actually start to, nah, I won't like you. I won't like you anyway. Sorry, I won't like you. Now let's go on, move on here. So still a wee bit of Stellar news here. Stellar made this post here and says, we're excited to share at decaf_SO users can now cash in or out of their USDC balance at participating MoneyGram locations around the world. Well, let's see, what the heck is decaf? It says decaf pay and proof of stake and decaf wallet, non-custodial, better payments and cross-border money via digital ledger technology. Stellar just keeps on going forward. Holy smokes, 23 has been a big year of activity on Stellar. I like it. I can't wait to see what else they're going to be doing. Of course, listen, every piece counts. No piece of the puzzle is small because every piece of the puzzle brings in the greater portion of the picture, the greater vision. So these are all good. It's all good information. Now let's move on here. So now I just wanted to point this article out on zcrypto.com, right? It was released today, but it's titled Stellar Blockchain Joins JP Morgan, BlackRock, and CFTC's Global Advisory Committee. This is something we already know, but that's not what's important. What's important here is that this was a main page article so long after this already was announced on zcrypto.com, a major website. So now, and I was asking for this, I was saying, why aren't more websites writing about Stellar? And now we have an article on a front page. This is good. This is bringing awareness to people. Listen, not that retail really doesn't mean anything when it comes to Stellar at all, but I'm talking about moving that XLM price. No, it's going to take the banks to do that 100%. But at least it presents opportunity if people ever wanted to take it. That's up to them. That's on them. But it also gets out the news to more businesses as well. They may want to utilize Stellar. Maybe some of them do want to help people and build on the chain to provide services and such. They can do that. Maybe they want to grow their business. They can do that. They probably didn't even hear about Stellar, but a lot of people go to zCrypto for a lot of different information, Bitcoin, Ethereum, things like that. And they may see this now and say, hey, what is this Stellar? I've seen it before and want to look into it. This is why news is good, why advertising is also good. It can bring about awareness to people that didn't have it before. It can open up opportunities. I like opportunities. I don't understand this. Why people will want less opportunity, right? So if it can happen, sure. If it doesn't, it's no loss to Stellar if this doesn't occur. But it is a bonus to Stellar when it does occur, and we'll take the bonus. So I like to see that. Man, applause to zCrypto for doing such a thing. And I hope to see more Stellar articles. Stellar's doing a lot, zCrypto. They're doing a lot. Hey, but I can't tell you guys what to do, but they have a lot of interesting activity. Look into Bankhaus von der Haidt, the bank they're working with, of course, Ukraine, Tascom Bank over there, but their entire financial system is going to be integrated with that Stellar system. If my information and my memory is correct. They got a lot of good stuff going on. Stronghold, look into what Stronghold is doing. Now, let's move on here. Stellar's doing very good. Let's move on here. All right. So this article here is from cryptobriefing.com. It's titled, "The U.S. government wants to cut off crypto's access to banks." Nick Carter. Now, I know that's a shocking title. They did good. It's so hard for me to come up with titles for videos, but these article writers, they just write whatever they want. Let's see if this actually is accurate. I'm not going to jump out the window. I'm not going to panic just because the article says this. Like, oh, it's meant to provoke that type of passion, adrenaline rush, which then fuels you to want to read the article and stay on the website longer. So although it did have that effect, let's read and see what they're talking about, if this is an accurate title. So now it says here, crypto companies may soon find themselves deprived of banking services in the United States, just like online poker was during Obama era, says Nick Carter. Okay, they're going to have to explain who Nick Carter is and why this is relevant and why they take his word to be truthful, or her word to be truthful. Castle Island general partner Nick Carter believes the crypto industry is under attack by the government. It's been under attack. Well, the government really is just, just my humble opinion, is just, it's really run by corporations. That corporate money goes everywhere, and they're going to do what the corporations tell them, right? And then you could go a little further, and there's a large swath of people who just consider the United States a corporation, right? So you could even move with that logic, but any of those logics applied, you can see that crypto, regular crypto mostly, has been under attack from the very beginning, right? That hazing, that initiatory phase, everything goes through it, all right? You can't escape it. But let's continue on here. It says, in a Substack post published yesterday, Carter claimed that the so-called the certain administration, okay, was currently, quote, using the banking sector to organize a sophisticated, widespread crackdown against the crypto industry. Yeah, I'll say that. I've seen that as well. It says, by discouraging banks from doing business with crypto companies. Yes, but where's the money coming from to put the battery in the backs of the politicians that are making the push for that? That's what you got to ask. They move based on lobbying. They move based on monies that are exchanging hands. That's really how they formulate most of their thoughts. Who pays them the most? They're hired guns at this point, right? So that's what the question that really needs to be asked. And then where is the counter to that? There's always two sides to everything. The other side is never eliminated, even if it's minimized. That needs to be asked. And if the people don't see that side being present and don't think it's prominent enough, the opposition, then the people need to become the opposition. The question is, do the people have the heart and spirit and minds to actually fight and push back and become that opposition? Right now, the people are just doing this. They do a lot of talking. It sounds real good. It's very interesting, especially like, you know, if you like that drama. It's very interesting, but this doesn't get you very far. Action speaks louder than words. And even non-action is action in itself. It's a cause in itself. There's no way around initiating causes. Your inactivity is a cause that gives rise to the effect that your opposition is making a move to deprive you of brilliance, riches, wealth, the possibilities of such. Let's continue on here. According to Carter, the government's approach replicates a strategy employed by the Obama administration named Operation Choke Point. I probably shouldn't have said that name, which sought to marginalize specific industries by restricting their access to banking. Impacted industries include online poker industry, firearms manufacturers, adult entertainers, lotteries, and money transfer networks. Okay, so we see certain activities taking place. I've witnessed some of these things get choked off. But once again, what are the people going to do about it? Instead of crying, instead of panicking, instead of screaming to the sky, oh, they're doing this to me. Okay, what are you doing to stop it? I'm about solutions. I'm not about sitting around and gossiping. I'm not about crying. I'm about what are we going to do to escape? What are we going to do to build? What are we going to do to fight back? What are we going to do to stop the bully from taking something from us? I'm just giving you a bunch of scenarios, general scenarios. I'm trying to figure out what to do. The people, if they take on that mind state, maybe they could bring balance to themselves. Maybe they can fight for themselves. Stop waiting for other people to do things. So we'll see where this goes. We'll see where this goes. If there's pushback, if this actually goes further than where it is right now, starting in just driplets, but we are paying attention to this. But the bank coins will be okay. The bank coins have been embraced by the banks. So when you're saying this, it really applies to regular crypto more so than the bank coins. Bank of America loves Ripple. The Fed, Ripple it has been assisting the Fed. Algorand works with MIT. MIT assisted the Fed in their research for CBDCs. Algorand is being used by central bank in Italy. Quant is partnered with SIA. SIA is partnered with the European Central Bank. Hedera is working with a multitude of banks. I mean, I can go on and on and on. XDC, I did that video this morning. XDC has connections to a lot of banks on that special commission that it's a part of. Check out that video if you want to see and hear about all those banks that XDC is working hand in hand with. Now, there's no guarantee that they're going to fully utilize XDC's infant outright, but we'll see. They have that partnership. They have that connection. We'll see. But what I'm saying is the banks love the bank coins. So this applies to the bank coins less than it does to regular crypto. Regular crypto, yeah, they definitely want to get rid of them. They're the whipping boy right now. The finance industry is doing terrible. The banks are doing terrible, but what they're doing is pointing at crypto. And they've been brainwashing the people for a long time to hate crypto. And so the people buy it when they watch it on news. They got the news on at the gyms. You go to the gym, the news is on. They're bashing crypto. So while people are riding on their bikes, they're watching crypto. Oh, crypto is bad. They're at the job. They're eating lunch. The TV is on. News is on. They're bashing crypto. They're eating lunch. Oh, crypto is bad. So then they go home and say what? Crypto is bad. So when their favorite politicians say crypto is bad, they say, yeah, I agree. I heard all of that about crypto. They take their word as law. Unfortunately, they don't do their own research. We do, but they don't. What are you going to do? So this works. So the regular crypto is the whipping boy now, that we know. Now let's move on to another article here. Okay. We're almost to the end here. I have so many articles, but I like to do my best. I do my best when I just let things flow. A lot of people don't understand that. If I'm rushing things, you're not going to get the most pure thoughts, the best that I can offer. I can't rush it. So now let's go here. Dubai sets the pace for issuing landmark virtual asset regulations. So let's scroll down here and let's read this little tidbit. It says, in one of the most comprehensive efforts to create a crypto regulation framework, Dubai's Virtual Asset Regulatory Authority, VARA, has issued its Virtual Asset Regulatory Authority 2023 regulations. VARA was launched in 2022 and is the sole authority for regulating, supervising, and overseeing virtual assets and virtual asset service providers, VASPs, across Dubai, excluding the Dubai International Financial Center. As per the VARA Regulations 2023, any entity that wishes to carry out virtual asset activities in Dubai must obtain prior authorization from VARA. VASP must go through a 4-stage licensing process. The licensing process starts with obtaining a provisional permit, followed by a preparatory license, an operating license, and eventually a minimum viable product license, a MVP. Listen, we always knew Dubai was going to jump out there first because they stand to benefit greatly from the tokenization of everything. They're in deep with a lot of the bank coins, XRP, Hedera. They took a picture with the royals in the United Arab Emirates. Holy smokes. So yes. So now we have one more piece of information that clues us into how far along we are in worldwide or global regulatory clarity. Dubai is on the map now as far as regulatory clarity. There you have it. So they're leading the way. We'll see who else is going to follow. So far, it has been a year where there has been great leaps forward as far as regulation, crypto regulation. Okay. And this is a very good thing for anybody who is holding a regulatory utility-based cryptocurrency. Right. So now let's end off here, okay, with a little bit of gold news. This is from Sprott, SPROTT.com, and it's titled, Strong China Demand Boost Gold Rally. So now we have it here. Let's scroll down, just read this little tidbit here. It says, January review. Gold had another strong month and the best start to a year since 2015 as spot gold rose $104.34 or 5.72% to close January at $1,928.36. While the gold price was supported by the decline in the US dollar and real yields in January, the magnitude and persistence for the bid of gold were high. Gold bullion trading desks have confirmed this strong interest is a continuation of flow demand from China since early November 2022. And the estimated tonnages bought would align with the most significant numbers since 2017. Price action and trading desk anecdotes denote large buying from China's official sector. It says here, January was a solid month for risk assets as investment funds were underexposed for a positive right tail outcome. The significant left tail risks of 2022 quickly faded or reversed as we headed toward the new year. Furthermore, with the pause in the Fed rate hikes in sight, both the USD and interest rates declined sharply. Gold bullion update. Gold bullion, since the autumn lows based on 3-month rate of change, had the most significant increase since 2011 from gold's early November lows of approximately $1,625 to $1,775. The price action has the look and feel of short covering in the face of an aggressive buyer. But since gold has reached the $1,775 level, the narrow up channel and low bid ask dispersion indicate a persistent large bid in gold that is not concerned with the market-related overbought conditions. Gold investment positioning remains low. Despite the rise in gold, the long CFTC net non-commercial positions and ETF holdings remain muted. Like a deer caught in a headlight, gold held ETFs remains near plus 2.5-year lows and has not shown any buying indication yet. So this is an extensive article. Listen, the future of gold still looks solid, still looks good. Nothing has changed. Central banks were buying more gold than ever before. Harsh economic conditions may force people to retreat into gold. We're still keeping an eye on that. Once again, this is from Sprott.com. Now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, let's get to the money.